Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that.
I'm Calvin,
And I'm Joe. Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
because we like that. From Joe's favorite wrestler.
WrestleMania 3, Pontiac, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
90,000.
Rewind it a little bit.
What's the cup for? WrestleMania 3, Pontiac, Michigan. Yeah, 90,000 plus people watching right there. And this is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's cup of coffee in the big time. Yeah, cup of coffee in the big time. Because you'll never get closer than now. Because I am ready. And I will not let this opportunity slip through my fingers. Cup of coffee, man. Yeah. Man.
And then he poses.
Wow, man.
And then he poses. What's the cup for? Didn't give you a straight answer whatsoever.
Amazing.
Didn't give you an answer
We used to-
whatsoever.
And we
Just
were
said Pontiac, Michigan, Ricky the Steamboat.
and we were young. You couldn't tell us he wasn't saying nothing when we were younger. His promos, you were like, oh man, he's awesome. Look at what he's saying. And now watching as an adult, he was saying absolutely nothing.
He
Nothing
said
made
it's
sense.
80% how you look.
Nothing made sense.
10% what you actually say.
Nothing made sense. It's just like he just
What's
I'ma
the
say
cup of
this.
coffee for? Cup of coffee.
cup of coffee in the morning. 90,000 people at Pontiac Arena.
Unbeatable. What's that got to do with the cup of coffee you got? Nothing? Okay.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I'm like, he
Cup
drinks,
of coffee.
he drinks coffee? No.
No.
No. Cup of coffee to the top.
What's that
So,
got to do with anything, sir? Nothing.
Drinking coffee gets you to the top?
Nothing.
No. Cup of coffee in the morning.
Listen,
I'm like,
that
whatever.
crack was cracking back in the day.
That's cocaine.
Cocaine.
That's that booger sugar.
Listen, it must have been good because what's happening? And your favorite wrestler, he lived on that.
Oh, yeah.
He lived on that.
Anywho, how's everybody doing out there? How was your week?
It was nice. I had a nice week. I am dreading going back to work because I know it's going to be insane. So
Yeah. It was up to me to get this thing back on the train tracks.
get what thing on the train track?
This show, because it was going off the rails for a second. With the Macho Man was taking us in another whole direction.
Okay, interesting.
But anywho, my weekend was fine.
Okay.
It's a cup of coffee in the morning.
You don't even drink coffee.
Exactly.
You said that's just so you know.
Just so you know.
That's what's going down.
So let's get into that happened with Skitty Bop 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 Joe.
All right, that happened with Joe. Basically, Jay-Z was denied the motion to dismiss his rape lawsuit. If you have been paying attention to what's going on with the Jay-Z thing, you know that him and his lawyer basically ran the defendant and her lawyer through the mud. They were like, we need to know your full name, what you look like, your weight, your firstborn. Like they wanted all this information. They were filing things to basically like go after the character of the actual lawyer as well as going after the character of the defendant. And this recent judge was like, nah, y'all can't do that. So no. So it was like people are confused because there's been a lot of negative statements towards the defendant. Like they're saying her story can't be corroborated. They've interviewed her parents who are like, we had no idea this was going on. We don't remember any of this at the time that it occurred because it happened years ago. So for all intents and purposes, I thought this got dismissed, but it did not. And it's still, for all intents and purposes, headed towards court. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I get why the judge did it, but if this was somebody else who had the complexion for the protection, for the collection, I think it would have got thrown out.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if you are tied to Diddy, it doesn't matter what your complexion is right now.
I think that's what it is. Because
Mhm.
apparently this was from a Diddy thing.
Yeah, Diddy was involved in this lawsuit. It's Diddy and Jay-Z.
So maybe, okay, you know what? Maybe that's why. Because it's tied to Diddy.
hmm
So I will recant my last judgment.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
It'll be interesting to see where this goes because I definitely thought it was going to go away. Jay-Z has the money to make it go away.
well,
So
evidently he doesn't because the judge said no.
I guess it's interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with
No,
that.
no, 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 no.
I've got some love after lockup gossip.
Look, love.
Keith and Letitia might not be together anymore. They're from Love During Lockup and Love After Lockup. Letitia was the lady who had her own tax business and was going to make Keith one of the business partners while he was in jail. It
She was
was
spending all of Keith's money.
insane.
Keith's.
She got evicted from her property for not paying the rent on time for this tax business, and then she also got sued by somebody she prepared taxes for
Also,
because allegedly she did not pay those taxes. She just kept the money.
Also, she was losing her house, right?
That was in the show. In the show,
in the
they
show,
said
yeah.
that because she was renting or leasing the home.
Apparently, she tried to say that the landlord wasn't paying the taxes on the house or something like that.
Yeah, that's what she said. No, not taxes, mortgage. She was
The
saying
mortgage
that
on the house.
the landlord wasn't paying the mortgage, and therefore they were being evicted, which was very interesting. But whatever. I think it was because she couldn't afford the rental payments anymore. But whatever. So, but yeah, so that's what's happening right now. She recently filed. She's not been showing up to court when they have been ordering her to come to court. And in her latest explanation as to why she couldn't do that, she stated that she was a single mother. And people are confused because she has been shouting from the hilltops that she is married. So, are they broken up? Are they not? Speaking of breaking up, recently found out that Bianca and Daniel are no longer together from our most recent Love After Lockup.
I'm not shocked. She didn't care about his sobriety or nothing.
Well, she has since found Jesus. So,
Well, yeah, they all find Jesus.
if you
when
go on her
they're doing
Instagram,
something.
she is talking about how she has given her life to Christ. She has found a new pathway. Jesus is the savior, and he's going to see her through all things. I hope that some of this is true for her. I hope she has found some kind of peace, because Bianca on the show looked lost.
Is she still drinking?
Maybe.
Well, then she couldn't find Jesus too good.
Allegedly, Daniel is back to using. He has an OnlyFans. Bianca alleges that he stole her social security number and spent up her money using her debit card. I don't know what that's got to do with her social security number, but whatever. Sure.
So she trying to blame him for spending all her money?
Do you think she spent all her money?
I think she spent a majority of her money.
Because remember, she was boasting about how she was sitting on a nice little nest egg of money from her lawsuit.
If she was still sitting on her money, why would she care if he took some money?
I wonder if it's because they broke up. Remember, because she wanted to be married so bad.
Sounds to me like she was doing what she wanted to do. I don't want to blame her for his sobriety because ultimately it's you.
Yes, but also
I think she
but also
did something and it triggered her sobriety and he started going down and that's why she left him.
I feel like he had all of the intentions to be sober. I don't know if she necessarily triggered something for him, but she definitely wasn't conducive to his sobriety.
I'm pretty sure she helped in some type of way. I'm not saying she's the 100% the reason, but I think I'm pretty sure she helped in some
I'm
way.
confused about the timeline though, because when her season was airing, she was all over my TikTok with Daniel in like every little, and it was her coming for people in her comments. She talks about how she got death threats. She talks about how these people were just like hating on her and trolling on her like nonstop because they didn't know the real deal. And apparently, it wasn't just her; it was everybody in her cast. And I'm thinking back on that season, and there weren't a whole lot of couples to like root for in that season. So I could see how a lot of people were very vocal about their dislike for these couples. So
I think because that was the season for villains.
clearly, what is Bianca and Daniel? It was Justine and Michael, Rob and Teeny.
I think the couples are just almost like
And your favorite, what's his face? The girl who come from like a church background and she was mad controlling of her husband. She cheated on him.
I know you're
but
talking about
but
dude,
thought
the
he
ones
was
up
gonna
in
cheat.
New York.
Yeah. Zariah and what's his face? Oh, that was loud as heck. But yeah, yeah.
I think the reason because majority of couples that season felt like the couples are all the same except maybe Justine and Michael.
All the same? Interesting.
they all
Like started to blend
were,
together, you're saying?
yeah, they all were a bunch of dysfunctional couples who pretty much got into arguments all the time.
I mean, you can say that
Because
about this season.
when I say arguments, I mean like it seemed like there were a bunch of couples who shouldn't have been together, and like all their problems, even though they had like different problems,
Uh-huh.
it was the same problem that you guys shouldn't be together.
Oh, okay.
You're too much different. You're too
I
different.
don't know. Tini and Rob seemed like their problems were mostly his mother.
It
It
was
wasn't
like
necessarily like the dynamics of their relationship. It was
seems like it was a bunch of quiet dudes with a bunch of loud.
females.
I want to say loud, angry females. That's what it felt like. Season was last season was the season of angry females and quiet
I
dudes.
feel like I'm forgetting a couple. There was Zariah and Troy. It was Bianca and Daniel, Justine and Michael. Wasn't there another one?
No, I think the couple you're thinking about, they weren't on that season.
Oh no, Tini and Rob.
Teeny and Rob, yeah.
I guess.
So
Anywho, but yeah.
it was a couple of it was a bunch of couples where the females were the crazy ones, and the dudes were the calm ones, and you're like just telling you want the dudes just to get out there, but they don't because
It,
they don't know no better.
it was interesting.
That's
But
all.
anyway, so now a lot of public opinion has changed to supporting Bianca, being like she got caught up, she was young, she didn't know what she was getting into, and going against Daniel.
Whatever.
So it's interesting. But anyway,
And then the reverse this season is more of a mix. Some of the dudes are crazy.
yeah,
Some of the females are calm. Some of the females are crazy. Some of the dudes are crazy.
I think they're all crazy, honestly.
It's a mixture.
What else is having a love
And I think we got more of a background to the people in this season too, so we get more attached. Not attached, but we get more invested.
context.
We get more invested and more context. I
don't-
think
I don't
last
know if we
season.
necessarily get more invested.
I think last season. I don't think last season we were invested because we didn't. Because even when they went into the backgrounds, people last season, it was like
So last season rolled right after the previous Love During Lockup, because Bianca and Daniel were part of that Love During Lockup.
well,
and then
maybe
they
it's
went into Love
maybe
After
we
Lockup.
didn't get no time to miss the show. That
And
much.
Zariah and Troy, same thing. They were also in that Love During Lockup. And they
Maybe
rolled
that's
into
why.
that.
Maybe a lot of it was carryover from a lot of the couples, and we were exhausted with the couples already.
Maybe because they were familiar faces. I was invested in the Bianca Daniel storyline. I thought it was hilarious.
I was until he got out, and then when he got out, I'm like, he can do so much better. I was hoping. I wanted to see what would happen to sobriety. I thought his sobriety would have broken on TV. That's kind of what I wanted to see.
I
That's messed up.
wonder if it did. I wonder if it did and we just didn't see it. But I mean,
But it is.
ugh.
It is what it is.
Yeah, so now he's doing OnlyFans. So if you want to see Daniel and all of his bits, you can for the cheap low rate of $14.99 a month.
I could keep my change.
It does make me wonder what guys do on OnlyFans, especially if they're straight guys. It does make me wonder what they actually do in terms of content, because their primary audience, even though women might be interested, it's gonna be men that are most engaging.
But people are going to keep their change.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Anywho,
Whatever.
also, talking about Love During Lockup, Crystal, the more details came out about Crystal and her charges, because a lot of us were confused as to how she got 14 years for cutting a man on the forehead.
I wasn't confused. I know it had to be assault with a deadly weapon or assault, some type of crazy assault.
He said, I was not confused.
I was not confused. So
yeah, but she told us that, and when they showed the quote unquote court records on the show, it just said assault. It didn't say assault with a deadly weapon. But it turns out it was assault with a deadly weapon. Calvin was right. But she pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and then assault with a deadly weapon. But they deferred adjudication, which means that
she got off.
She had kind of. They were basically like, as long as you follow your probation, you don't got to go into the jail.
So
basically,
what leads me to believe they might have been fighting and was they kind of proved it might have been self-defense in a way.
I don't know. I feel like it was I feel like there was something else going on. I don't think it was self-defense
It
necessarily,
had to have been
because
something to that
that would have
effect.
been noted. It would
But I'm
have been noted
saying
if it was.
not really,
Yeah.
because it could have started off self-defense, and then she could have tried to kill him
But
after she got.
if it was self-defense, then it would be in like the second degree. That's when those degrees come into play. So if they were able to prove that it was associated with self-defense, we would have seen stuff like in the second degree,
I
in the
think
third
I
degree.
think what it was she got away, but she went back. I think it's something like that.
I don't think so. So allegedly,
Okay.
she was on the druggers. He was on the druggers.
Like I said,
Okay.
I think it was something like she got away and she went back to try to kill that dude.
He was on the druggers. She was on the druggers. Okay. Um. So she already had a past with that, of like getting in trouble for being on drugs, being in possession, yada yada yada. Then this comes out and it gets deferred, which tells me that either this is her first time in this particular type of action, or whatever. They were trying to be lenient for whatever reason. She had an 8-year probation for her to follow. She
Nah.
doesn't follow it. They catch her in possession of marijuana, PCP, using her grandmother's urine for a drug test, and texting the victim who she was supposed to be staying away from.
So, like I said, I think it wasn't her fault. It was her fault.
No, I think he went back.
Oh, okay.
I think he
So they
was
got in a
like-
fight. He left. He came back and she stabbed him.
I don't know if he left
cut him.
during the fight, but I think he tried to drop the charges. I think he tried to lessen what was going on.
Okay.
Because for one of her probation violations to be that she then talked to him again, that means there was already something in place for her to never speak to him again.
Okay. Whatever. She didn't stick to her
And
probation.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a situation where she was the aggressor for all of it.
Yeah.
Because look at the guy she's with now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, anyway you look at it, she got off. Couldn't stick to it. Got the 14 years.
She got a lenient sentence. Didn't stick to it. They were like, if you want to test us, we'll test you. 14 years.
And I
Boom.
can already assume that her probation got canceled, or her.
You don't get the probation anymore.
I mean, her apply for early probation or
Early parole.
parole got denied. I'm
Well,
assuming.
Well,
I'm assuming.
she's still in jail right now,
So
and
it
her parole date would have been around October
got denied.
of this current year.
So I'm assuming.
She's still in the Texas State Penitentiary. So, yeah.
So I'm assuming they said no.
So,
No.
looking at how that can happen, if she can't prove that she has somewhere to go, if she were to come out on parole, that's also something that's another count against her in getting that parole. Do you think homeboy wised up, broke up with her, and that's why she no longer had somewhere to go?
She still could have gone to her grandma's house.
Yeah, but her grandma doesn't have money. And if he's gone out the picture, that's the source of income to keep that place.
Don't. I guess.
It does matter because she doesn't own that place. So if he leaves,
think
that means she's got to find somewhere else to go.
I just think she got denied.
You think he's still with her?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think she possibly talked herself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think he's going nowhere. I don't think nobody wants him.
That's messed up.
The
All right,
grandmama don't want him. But it seemed like he was trying to hit on the grandmama.
Well,
Which in the first or second episode, which was weird.
well.
So
And then there's some 90-day gossip that Calvin gave me yesterday. Did you get it from our affiliate, our news affiliate?
of course.
Oh, nice. So shout out to Pam. Pam hit us up and let us know that Gross Lauren from 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days, got married 2 weeks after his visit with Faith in the Philippines. So he comes back to the States, somehow meets up with somebody, and gets married in Las Vegas to them. And now they're divorced also. This all happened early part of this year. So
Was that the Filipino? Was it a Filipino person so he can get back to the Philippines?
no, I don't know. I don't know if this person's Filipino or not. They
Because
don't
wasn't he trying to
say.
get the hell out of the States?
That was at the time that he was in the Philippines. Lauren doesn't think long term. He's not like, let me get back to the Philippines at all. So,
Well, it's his spicy neural whatever. That's the
who
issue.
knows? They got married, and then 5 days later, they got divorced. 5
Well,
days.
she figured out something was wrong with him, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna nail this while I can."
They got married in December of 2023, and then they got divorced in December of 2023.
Sound like that person's like 5 days. I can't do it. We're done.
It,
Sometimes you only need a couple of days to figure out if you can be in this for long term.
Listen, Lauren's going through a lot of things. He also has stated that he was diagnosed as autistic, but he doesn't believe in that diagnosis. So,
I don't
there's
believe
a lot of things.
autistic.
You don't think he is?
I think he might. I think it's
I don't
more.
think. I think he is.
I think he just might have uh uh personality disorder or something like that.
That is part of being on the spectrum, though. Being neurospicy can also lead to those behavioral conditions.
Sure. Anywho,
That's it. That's all I got for Dat Happened, unless you have anything else.
no,
All
I
right.
do not.
All right. What show you want to move into?
Let's. I guess since we started off with Love and Lockup,
Or do you want to do your shout out?
huge shout out at the end.
Okay.
Start with Love and Lockup. Love During Lockup, season 5, episode 53. The title is Cruel Intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell got cruel intentions? Everybody? I'm assuming everybody.
Oh, you're saying how does it relate to
Yeah.
the episode?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Yeah. Anywho, we can start with.
I don't think it's everybody. I think it's Crystal.
Okay. And maybe Hunter.
Maybe Hunter.
Okay, whatever. Starting off with Chikima and Donnie. Pretty much starts off with Chikima. Pretty much no one knows that Donnie's in jail.
No,
No one knows.
her family doesn't know Danny's in jail. You make it sound like nobody around her knows that he's in jail. That's not true, because she's
Nope.
also talking to his sister. So she hasn't told anybody
Her
he's in jail.
Her family doesn't know he's in jail. Finally, she sits down with her twins and tells them that he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much face calls him. Just FaceTime. He gets on the FaceTime. He talks to the boys. The boys call him daddy.
He's also in the hole, which means that she can't talk to him when she wants to talk to him regularly. But he won't tell her why he's in the hole. He keeps saying he doesn't know.
Pretty much they started after he tells the boys and the boys go to bed. Him and Jakima talk and then pretty much trying to figure out why he's in the hole and he won't tell her. And now she wants to play Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, she says he calls her Inspector Gadget because she will find out.
Oh, Magnum PI, and now she's going to try to find out why. Or Murder, She Wrote.
She's too young to know what any of those shows are.
Or Murder, She Wrote.
She doesn't know who Magnum PI is or Murder, She Wrote.
She's going to try to figure out why he's in the hole. We get a preview for the next episode. Seems like she's tied to some of his criminal activities.
Well, the trailer for next week is her looking at paperwork that says that her name is associated with his crimes. So,
and that's pretty much all we have on Chikima and Donnie for right now.
Well, Donnie gets called dad for the first time by the twins. He gets excited about that. He seems very apologetic to Chikima about not being able to talk to her when he can. It's an interesting dynamic that it's kind of switched. Usually we see the person on the outside kind of like desperate for the person that's in the prison. But with Donnie and Chikima, it's the other way around. He's spending money on her. He's trying to make her feel comfortable. He's trying to reach out to make sure that she stays with him. It's very interesting.
Sure. Like I said, that's my least favorite one. I don't care about those two
Interesting.
that much.
I care about her.
I would like to know, the only thing I would like to know is the charges that she's tied to and how.
Uh-huh.
That's what I want to know. That's the most interesting about these two. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the money she's getting too. But that's
It's very possible. Because I want to know how he has all this money.
Hunter, Kate, and Kaylee.
Our threesome.
So
Oh, I have a little bit of gossip on that.
what?
Do you want to do a summary and then tell you the gossip, or you want to gossip now?
You can tell the summary. Because I forgot.
So Hunter, Kaylee, Kate. We're picking up with Kate, who is upset that Hunter is not following the quote unquote rules of her pimping him out on JDate. She set up Hunter on this website called JDate so he can get these sugar mamas to help fund his stay while incarcerated. Because she says she's a yoga teacher, she can't afford to do so. But they're showing us her place. Homegirl has money. Anyway, doesn't matter. So she's upset that Hunter, one, got in trouble with talking to one of these sugar mamas who may have exposed themselves on a video call that was recorded. Or
I think it's Kaylee who did that.
who knows? It's Hunter.
'Cause that's good.
Who
That's good too.
knows?
But yeah, but
Anywho,
I
because he
think
says he
it's most
has
likely
10.
Kayla.
He says
Yeah.
he's got a roster of 10 ladies. It could easily be any of them.
I think it's Kaylee. But like I said,
He
you're
says
right.
they all think I'm in love with them, and they all think when I get out, I'm coming home to them.
But you're right. So then that goes back to my thing. I think Kaylee is a fetish for him.
So he seems very excited to be like sexually active with Kaylee. He complains about how like Kate doesn't want to do any of that. She doesn't want to do the phone sex. She thinks it's weird. Even when he gets out, he's tried to propose to her, but she's turned him down and is like, you need to be like on the straight and narrow for a year before you try to propose to me when you get out. But he has already proposed to Kaylee, and Kaylee has already accepted. But Kaylee's also given him a lot of money. We pick up with them at a sex toy store. Kaylee's there with her friend. She's looking for new toys to play with Hunter. I surmise that she's looking for new toys to give him an auditory experience, maybe a little bit of a visual one if they have FaceTime, but he got in trouble with the whole exposure thing. So, because when we first meet Kaylee, I had to rewatch it because I was confused, but she's making noises with her mouth the whole time to get Hunter off in that previous episode that we watched. So I think it's auditory. I think she's finding new toys to spice up their dates auditorily.
Don't think people care.
I care. I wanted to know the logistics. So she's looking for a new toy. She's looking for a dildo that kind of looks like Hunter's penis. She says she's found one. He was like my size, which makes me wonder, is it smaller? So anyway, they're talking about this. She's feeling spicy. She's feeling sexy.
Wow.
Her friend is looking at her crazy. Her friend is like, you're doing a lot for somebody you just met, and now you're telling me you're engaged to him. And she's like, yeah, girl, be happy for me. Hunter calls during their visit and tells her, yo, the $200 you gave me, I spent it on shoes. She goes, oh, so now you need more money for your food box? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, I'm not doing that. I already gave you $200. Then we find out she also spent she spends about $500 at minimum monthly for a texting program. Basically, like JDate or whatever this prison system is, in order for you to stay in communication with the cellmate, the person incarcerated, you have to buy a separate texting package through the prison system or through JDate or wherever it is that they're doing all this texting from. It's not just off your regular text on the phone because they don't have access to the phone like that, which is insane. $500 a month. Anywho. So she's complaining about how much money she's dropping on Hunter.
It makes sense so the prisons can track the messages that's coming in, coming out.
Right, but why would it cost extra to the other person? That's the part I don't get.
Because
they're
if you wanna-
offsetting what cost.
because it's extra people means extra things they got to read. So we might as well make money off this too.
I wonder if it's just capitalism. I don't think they're actually paying attention to what's coming out.
It's both.
That's my own biased
No,
opinion, though.
it's both. But if they're not reading these things and something comes in and it ends up getting used in a court of law, they can get in trouble.
My theory is
Or something happens and they go back.
complacency is something that also happens.
I'm-
Listening to calls it's gonna get boring. But I
I'm-
think as long as you have a record of it, it covers a lot for that institution.
All I'm saying is,
so that they can go back and listen to it if
I'm
they
not
have to.
saying stuff doesn't fall through the cracks. What I'm saying is they got to track that stuff. Because let's say somebody's communicating through that stuff to kill somebody.
I'm just wondering why that cost then goes on the communicator and not a cost for the prison. It feels like
Why are
they're
we
making
gonna
them pay for the cost of that system.
Yeah, why are we gonna pay for a system that somebody else wants to pay to text somebody in jail?
But my thing is, one, that system's not reliable in terms of communication. So you're paying $500 to maybe talk with them.
That's not my problem as the prison system.
It's just very interesting to me how this works. So basically, Kaylee is complaining about how she is financially supporting Hunter on her own. And the show reminds us that Kate set it up this way. And Kate has gone on record to talk about how, like, initially she felt bad for these ladies that he's just using, but also, you got to do what you got to do, which for somebody who practices yoga, that's bad karma. Anywho,
But for me, it also goes to show that I don't think Hunter likes Kaylee like people think or like she thinks. I still think she's a jump off and she's a fetish for him. And I think she's the one sending him majority of the money.
listen, I would have loved the story of the guy who normally goes for like the skinny blonde, who all of a sudden was like, "Yeah, I'm into this thickum. Let me get
Sorry,
with her." I would have loved that story.
sorry, that's
But
not
I
real
also have
life.
to agree with you
Sorry, that's
because
not real
Hunter
life.
talks about how his typical type, he says, are petite snow bunnies. They're
So,
petite, tiny white women who usually are blonde.
not even
It's usually his thing.
not even in fantasy books does that happen
Oh,
like
it
that.
happens in fantasy books all the time.
Sure it does.
I read a lot of smut. It happens in fantasy books all the time. So
Yeah, the person who's writing it, that's what it is.
yeah, because it's a fantasy.
What exactly?
Fiction.
It's fiction. That's yeah,
Yeah. You said it doesn't happen in fantasy, and it does because anything can happen in fantasy.
sure.
So, anywho, back to the
Even
Kaylee thing.
fantasy is wrong.
Um, Hunter apologizes profusely, says he loves her, blah 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 blah, and that when he gets out, he'll pay the bills. Empty promises. One, there's no way he's out. Two, he probably is not going to go home to Kaylee. So we flash back to Kate, who is stressing. She's talking to her mom about how Hunter is not respecting these boundaries that she placed when she set him up for for J dates, and her mom is looking at her like, "Of course he wouldn't. What are you talking about? Please look at these red flags." But Kate's like, "Nope, I'm not gonna look at them." And then she goes and talks to her two best friends, who I definitely thought were gonna be two white women. They're two black women with natural hair, and I was confused and befuddled.
Not really.
Confused and befuddled.
Sure.
But I also wonder, are they her friends? They seemed like work associates. Because she goes, "Hey, ladies." They don't have like, the two black girls have like the friendly dynamic between the two of them, but not with Kate.
Sure. She picked all that up in 30 seconds. I just saw a bunch of women sitting there drinking wine, whining about men.
It not
Pretty
even
much.
men, just Hunter. So
Well, her whining about
she's
her man.
talking about how she signed up Hunter for a J date and he's not following the rules, and now these ladies allegedly are getting him in trouble, and the girls are looking at her like they're happy that she tried to pimp him out for some reason. Like they see that as a nice girl boss move, but they ought this at the same time. They're also like, you're setting him up to not be monogamous with you. Like you're setting you're setting him on a path to dip out and be with these other people.
At
Like,
the
what
end
are
of
you
the
doing?
day, she had to rob Peter to pay Paul.
She gets a call from Hunter that takes her away from her talk with her girls. And they kind of leave us on a cliffhanger. It's Hunter leading towards an apology for something, but we don't get to know what that is. I guess we'll find out in the next episode.
It's not going to be an apology for what he should apologize for. I'm assuming
You
that's
don't
what
think
it's
he's
gonna
going to come clean about Kaylee?
be. No.
Okay.
Why? And if he does, he's just going to use it as, well, this was this girl I was just stringing along to make money. That's how he's going to flip it.
You ready
He's
for my
not gonna
gossip?
Tell her that she's in love with her.
You
What's
ready
yeah.
for my gossip?
So what's the gossip on these three?
Potential spoilers. Nothing is confirmed. This is all on the gossip streets of Reddit and the internet and whatnot. Allegedly, the production team was like interested in finding out if there was a potential threesome couple that they could put on for this season. And I guess when they were talking to Hunter and Kate about it, Hunter was like, "Well, I am talking to these other people." And they were like, "Bingo. Can we get one of them to be on the show? We'll do like a threesome storyline for y'all." And that's when Kaylee came into the picture. Kaylee, who apparently goes by Ava on her socials everywhere. So people are surmising that none of this is real. This is all storyline for the show.
Whatever. I didn't think it was gonna be as good of a storyline as the Michael threesome.
That was gold.
That was
That was gold.
because that was real.
It felt real. It
was-
definitely did.
It was real
It definitely felt real.
because he was an idiot. It was real. He was an idiot.
And like he kept it in the threesome. Like he always had another girlfriend on the side. And like it was
'Cause
crazy.
He's a cheater.
It
That's
was
why.
crazy.
Because he's a
He
cheater.
had kids with these women and still kept somebody on his side.
Because he's
He
a
was
cheater.
hilarious.
That's what cheaters do.
He was hysterical. But I mean, so right now in the show, Hunter is up for probation in like 6 months. But as of a lot of stuff that I've been reading, he's still in prison. He's still locked up.
So obviously the idea didn't work.
But Kate is still posting him all over her social media.
'Cause she's a trollop.
Trollop.
Tia and Rob. Pretty much we pick up Tia meeting her cousin and Rob's sister to talk about Rob's living situation when he gets out. So she calls Rob calls her and basically tells her he's going to be living in Brooklyn by herself.
No, he's told her 8 different things.
He's told everybody, told her basically 8 different things. Her sister thinks there's going to be somebody else there. He's going to be living with a female. He gets here like, nah, I'm going to be there by myself. She's going to be in Harlem. I'm going to be in Brooklyn.
First, he was supposed to live with Tia. So it's been a lot.
So the sister's like, what?
He was supposed to live with Tia. Then he was like, nah, I'm staying with my homeboy and his girl. Then it was, I'm staying. Then, no, Tia heard from the sister and her cousin that he was staying with a female. And then she was like, what? And when she confronted Rob about it, he was like, no, she won't be there. And she was like, what do you mean?
So now everybody's finding out that the girl's not going to be there, supposedly. She's going to be in Harlem, and she's going to let him stay in her place in Brooklyn by
Supposedly
himself.
he's subletting, yes.
So I guess they work the details out. How, why, I don't know. Because Tia is so desperate to be in love with this idiot. Because they can't find nobody else. So fast forward, Tia is now at lunch with her grandma. She talks to her grandma. She finally tells her grandma about Rob. The grandma passes out.
She doesn't pass out.
But
she is heartbroken.
She has to hit her little monitor on her little button on her chest.
Nope.
For
you don't even know what it is, and you're making up a story.
Medical attention?
Nope.
Because her daughter has broken her heart once again.
That's not her daughter. That is her granddaughter.
She sees her as her daughter.
Nope.
Breaks her heart once again.
But she is worried because Tia was in a very bad, abusive relationship. That was like emotionally and physically abusive. Bones were broken. Like they had to save her. And now she's with this guy who's currently incarcerated. So her grandmother's like, what?
And now
what?
She's praying. She's throwing holy water on
None
Tia.
of that happened. But she did say
that
she's just worried.
And that's pretty much Tia and Rob. You got anything else you want to add?
It was just those. I keep thinking there was another couple. But no. Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal and Sam is the last couple. Pretty much we get to meet Sam's best friend.
A black man.
And they go play pool, they talk, whatever, yada, yada. Crystal calls. I guess Crystal gets her attitude problem.
The picture that Sam's best friend paints is that Sam was this ladies' man back in, like, Seattle.
Whatever. Anywho, moving on, Crystal calls. Crystal gets upset. Now Sam's upset because Crystal's upset. And that's pretty much...
No. Sam's upset because Crystal is super controlling, honestly. And he doesn't feel like it's an equal exchange. Like, he's good with her being dominant, but he's not allowed to hang out with his friends unless they check in. And she's like, you still got your ring on. I hope he's not leading you around any other females. And she's gone on record saying that she doesn't trust him, which, why? And then he starts talking about their sexual dynamics as a couple. Like, you know, he kind of wants her to do phone sex. But she doesn't want to, period, at all. And she refuses. They've been married for 2 years? 3 years?
I don't know or care.
You don't know or care. They've been married for a while, and he's feeling really sexually frustrated. about it all. And on Crystal's end, she does say that she thinks it might be a control thing. She wants to withhold it from him because it's something that she can hold over him. And that's why he gets upset on the phone.
Whatever. He's upset because she's upset, like I said.
He says he doesn't want to disappoint her. She also sends him out to get like all these groceries to stock up in her grandma's house for when she gets out. But it's food that she may never see. So I don't understand.
Once again, he's an idiot. I think this is a
And
fetish too.
she gets mad at him because he tried to save money on a fridge. She's like, I wanted you to get this specific fridge. And he ended up getting like this little one, this like personal sized fridge. And he was like, well, I just felt like the smaller fridge was a little more conducive to, where I'm at right now since it's just me. And she was like, no, we had an agreement. And it's like, why would he spend all this money on a huge fridge that you can't use?
Whatever. She'll get over it because she's not getting out no time soon. So
Listen.
he'll have time to find somebody else or do whatever. She ain't getting out no time soon. That's pretty much love after lockup. We still haven't seen the other couple that's supposed to be in this season yet.
They're really stretching it out. So it'll be interesting. We'll see.
I don't think that couple is gonna be in there long. I think they're gonna be in.
I wonder if the Hunter Kaylee is the one that's not going to be there long.
Okay. Well, yeah, someone's not gonna be here long.
Mm.
I kind of think it's gonna be Tia and Rob.
That won't be there that long.
Yeah.
Mm.
I kind of.
It's up in the air. Who knows? The one with the closest parole date is Crystal for the show.
We know she's not getting out.
Exactly. So I wonder if it's them.
I don't see that dude going nowhere. Sam. I don't see Sam going nowhere.
Okay.
So they can technically still stay. They just argue about her being controlling the whole time.
You know who I want them to follow up on? It was a Love During Lockup. The girl was like infatuated with this dude who had been in jail for like a decade. And his mom hated her. She was like, this trollop, I saw her cheating on you with a musician at another party. But his parents hadn't talked to him like technically since he had gone to jail. And he had gone to jail for like some serious stuff. It was a dude from Ohio. Remember? He said he got in a fight and then he got locked up in jail for like 20 something years.
I have no idea.
She dressed up in a wedding dress and drove to visit him. And he
Everything
was
is-
like, why are you in a wedding dress?
everything is running together.
She was this white girl who was like, I'm trying to get engaged to him. I'm trying to get married to him.
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to
yeah,
propose to her.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
just be girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yeah.
But she had been like petitioning the governor to like get him
She
released
wrote
early.
all this stuff to try to get him.
Yes.
And the family's like,
And the family didn't like her.
and she's like, I don't know why the family's not helping me doing this petition to get him out early.
But then it turned out like the family, one, they kind of felt like he should be in jail. But also two, they didn't trust her because apparently she had a reputation of like being with a lot of people. So,
Oh yeah, I know you talking about. And her friend, yeah, I know you talking about. They was talking outside at around the fire pit one time.
yes, I want to follow up on that. So I want to know what happened there. We'll see. Anywho,
Isn't Bianca dating one of the ex dudes from Love After Lockup?
nope. She
What?
was seen with Deontay,
Seeing with one? Okay.
but so Deontay knocked up somebody. He knocked up a dancer, and they were having a baby together. And then that lady disappeared, and now he's with somebody else young who is also pregnant with his child. And then they took a photo with Bianca.
Oh, that chicken bone head dude from Norfolk.
Yeah. They were down in Florida, which is where Bianca is now. She's no longer in New Mexico or Arizona, wherever she was.
I guess is she back with her lover and friend?
She's with her family. All the photos she puts up are her and her family.
Oh.
And Jesus Christ.
Oh, she's not with her
So-
lover and friend anymore?
She might be.
Or only lover friend?
She might be.
Let's move on to 90 Day, the last resort first.
Okay.
Then we go do 90 days before the 90 days because there ain't too much about that.
About what? Last resort?
Either of them. It's not too much.
Okay.
Both of them gonna be kind of short.
Well, Last Resort, I caught up on all the episodes. Calvin watched the most recent episode. In a nutshell, Last Resort is for me, the highlights are Florian not caring about anybody there. Not a single person. He's like, I don't know why they crying. I don't know why they're saying the stuff that they say. Maybe they shouldn't be together. He's hilarious.
For Floridan, whatever,
Hilarious.
Florida or Floridan, whatever their Floride,
Florian.
whatever. He hasn't cared about himself in the last 10, 15 years.
Listen, his wife is trying to do the dramatics and tries to like cry hard.
And
he just goes, what the fuck is wrong with you?
he's been doing
It's
that
hilarious.
since Stacey and Darcy, the show.
It's
if you haven't watched
hysterical.
that, that's a, if you want to
Train wreck.
and just laugh and cry at the same time and shake your head at the
Choices these people are going to keep
choices
making.
these people make and how it's do as I say, not as I do.
It's interesting.
Stacey and Darcy's for you.
First 2 seasons, I would say Stacey, Darcy. The third season, well, you can toss it. You can throw it away. For the most part, nothing really is happening at all, except the girls going to college. So the couples in last resort are Stacey and Florian. We've got Benny and whatever his wife's name is. I can't remember it to save my life. We've got Jasmine and Gino. We've got Brandon and Julie. And we've got Natalie and Josh. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Rob and Sophie.
Rob and Sophie.
Yes. What is Benny's wife name?
I'm looking it up now. You can go ahead and talk. I'm looking it up now.
Listen, the latest episode is them going to group sex therapy, which is supposed to help reconnect the couples, kind of find like their juice for each other type of a thing. Rob is hoping that this will help Sophie become a little more affectionate with him. Rob talks about how they struggle to find a physical connection with each other. It's been almost close to a year since they've had anything together.
I'm sorry, his wife's name is Ariella.
Ariella, she's the worst. Anyway, so but Sophie, she's reluctant. She doesn't want to do a whole lot with Rob. Like there's a friendship there for sure. I just don't think there's a romance there. I think Rob is hoping it could become a romance again. I don't think it's going to. Sophie is sticking it out for some reason. For some reason, Sophie is also trying to stick it out. I don't know why.
I love the way how he was so emotional when she went in and suck his little stinky nipple.
Because
she doesn't even want to.
He didn't cry like that, but he was upset.
Touch me.
Because I think that's a big thing for him. Like her not physically wanting him is a big thing.
She don't want me.
But their communication with each other is terrible. So
maybe if he was better at it, she don't want you.
I don't even know if it's that. I feel like there's a lot of confusion with
Whatever.
Sophie.
If he was decent or good at it,
I don't know.
She'd be all right.
I don't know. I think it'd have to not be him, period.
But then again, some people aren't cool with doing certain stuff in front of people.
Yeah.
So to me, that's how I took it as.
She was uncomfortable with the group.
Uncomfortable doing it in front of the group. Because she kind of started doing it, but she was like trying to cover her face.
Yes, she did cover her face.
So to me, when it comes to something that's sexual, I don't think
or intimate for sure.
Intimate, she's not okay with doing it
in public.
In public, she doesn't. Now, if she's out partying, drinking, she'll take a shot of somebody's stomach or somebody's chest or something crazy like that. But as far as doing something like literally sexual, almost, intimate, I don't think she's comfortable doing it in that setting. The only reason I think Gino was doing it is to impress what's her face.
Honestly, I think the only reason Gino was doing it was because it was a set of rules he knew how to follow. I don't even think it was to impress Jasmine. I think he just knew that this is what was expected, and he was like, okay. And that's what he did. Because he kept telling her to stop moving. That was the other thing. He's very literal. Like, he's very tactical. He's very literal. So I don't think he saw it necessarily as being, like, super sexual at all.
Well, I guess she couldn't stop moving because that's the most action she got in a long time.
For real. Jasmine fiending.
Yes.
And then we also had Ariella and Benny. Ariella's trying to be sexy and like cuddly and lovey. And Benny is like, get away from me.
Was the best one for me.
To Benny's credit, Ariella is terrible. She's horrible. She does not give this man a break at all. Like, then just end it. Like, just end it then if it's so bad, but she refuses to.
And all Benny is saying, like, give me my passwords, it'll be done.
She says
Just
Benny's
give me my
cheated on
passwords.
her. Benny doesn't respect her. Benny has done this and done that. And Benny's like, I don't know what she's talking about. So I don't know what's going on.
I think she loves misery. And she
Ugh.
doesn't know how to be happy.
But
She loves
my
misery.
thing is now she's bringing in their baby though. She's bringing in their son in on this, and it's not good.
And I think that's what's killing him.
And I
and
think
making
the
him
other
mad.
thing is like the tide is turning because at first when the show first started, all of the women were on her side. Benny was this bad guy. Ariella was this victim. Even Florian was nice to her and was like trying to make her feel better. But then when they got to know Benny, they were like, "What are you talking about, Ariella?" Like they get along with Benny. Benny is a sociable person. He's making them laugh. They're having good times. They're talking. And then Ariella, as soon as she sees that Benny is kind of being received well, she locks herself in a bathroom at the club when they're at the club all together. She just locks herself in the bathroom and stays in that bathroom, doesn't talk to nobody for hours.
I'm sorry, she locks herself in the bathroom for hours.
For hours.
They had to fast forward. It had to been a couple of minutes.
It's Jasmine knocking on the door being like, "Girl, you okay? Like, why are you throwing this tantrum right now? What is going on?"
And I think the only thing Benny does is he's just a nice, sociable person.
I think there's more to it. He is a nice sociable person. I also don't think he pays attention to her needs specifically, but I don't think it's communicated well. I think she lets it build up and then she's like, "And this is why you're a terrible person." Do I think Benny has selfish tendencies? Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember
I
their other
don't
seasons.
have time to continuously fix you. I don't.
I don't
At
even know if it's
some
necessarily a
point,
fix.
It gets tiring.
I don't even know if it's necessarily a fix.
If I always got to stop what I'm doing and stop my happiness or slow down to make sure you're okay and comfortable every time.
I will say this about Ariella. There were instances where she needed Benny to prioritize herself and her son, and he didn't. He prioritized his career and socializing in the aspects of his
She
career.
then told him he needs to get a job and be successful.
That was in America. They went back to Ethiopia where he had the job already. And Benny has been in entertainment. That's been his career.
That's his career, entertainment. So,
But what she doesn't like about it is that he tends to cheat in that sphere.
So
Remember,
is
he had another wife. He cheated on that wife. That wife took their child and left, went to America. He had a girlfriend, cheated on her with somebody from that industry as well. So he does have a history of this, but she also was acutely aware of it before she had their child.
once again,
So
you knew the book you were getting.
I will say to her credit, if her complaint is that she finds herself in situations where Benny doesn't prioritize her the way she feels that they should be prioritized, I get, but I also don't understand why you're still there.
You went to the store, you look at all the beautiful things on the shelves, you picked that thing off the shelf. You knew what you were getting.
I don't see how that correlates.
She knew what she was getting in Benny. His past wasn't a secret. She knew he cheated on the other lady that was from America
Okay.
and the girlfriend because he's part of the industry. She knew that. She decided to be a part of it anyway.
Listen, I can't fault you for being like, well, I'm gonna try. I can't fault you for doing that.
Sometimes you need to try something else.
But what I don't get is continuing to try when you know it's not changing. That part I don't get.
Whatever.
But whatever. Like have Benny tell it. His biggest complaint was that she was blocking all his social media. He needed his social media for work. He needed his social media for his career. And to get back at him, she had changed all the passwords. And after she has assumed control of a lot of it.
So it seems like he gave her control to make her feel more comfortable with what was going on. So she has all the information.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't help.
No.
Now he's like, okay, I'm done. I think he's done. The only reason I think he's there, why not just change the passwords, dude? Just go in and change the password to something else.
Well, the way social media works, you need the existing password in order to change the password. And she's the default for everything. So like if he did go to change the password, that password's going to her. It's not going to him. And he can't change that contact information without the password. The other thing he could do is like delete all of it. He could ask them to remove all his old profiles and create a new one, but he didn't want to have to create a brand new one when he had all of the whatever stats set up on the
So
existing ones.
all I think if he wants to get those passwords, then he needs to play house.
Well, so there's a part in the latest episode where Ariella takes him out of the club and goes, I'll give you the passwords. I'll try to compromise with you. I'll give you your passwords. I think it's all talk though. She says she doesn't remember the passwords off the top of her head. She has to wait till they get back to the States for her to pull them up for him. But she agrees to try to give it to him. She's not going to give him those passwords. So, but yeah, it's Ariella and Benny trying to do the sex therapy thing, and Ariella's trying to get into it, and Benny looks disgusted. And when they
He's like puking every time. No,
she's like trying to lick on him, and he's
No.
like, okay, like so
that's not it.
on Belly's like his confessionals, he's just like, I'm not good at faking it. I'm not good at trying to forget all of the terrible that has been in our relationship and just be with her right now. I can't do that. I can't fake it. And you can tell that on his face.
She kisses his penis. He goes, no.
Basically.
And I'm like, wow.
Basically.
I'm like, wow.
We also have Brandon and Julia.
You are scarred, sir. You are scarred.
Brandon and Julia are there because they're saying their communication has fallen, basically. They can't seem to be eye to eye on a lot of things regarding family. Julia wants her family to come over from the Ukraine. Brandon's like, that's not feasible for us. One, there's nowhere for them to stay. Two, her parents are divorced, so it's already going to be complicated trying to do that. And three, she wants me to pay for their visas to get here, and I don't want to do it. Visas are not cheap.
First of all, Brandon's upset because she's not giving any. That's
Brandon's also other complaint. He wants a baby, he says, but also they haven't had sex in a minute. I think they said 8 months or something. So he's frustrated. Fast forward to the club where Julia, who has a go-go dancer background, we know this from the other seasons, is having her best life. She's dancing with the other guys. She jumps on the counter. She's doing her little go-go dance on the counter.
Like she's in Coyote Ugly.
Not really.
And he's like, if you don't get your Trump ass Jezebel.
He's like, girl, I can see your vagina. You can't. He's like,
devilish ass off them goddamn tables and sit your behind down somewhere.
He's like, you're acting like a whore. You're not even wearing a bra.
Get your ass off that goddamn
Like,
table.
he's just going full, like, Christian husband on her for some reason. My theory is he's like, how dare you be sexy for these strangers when you won't be sexy for me? That's my theory.
Grind on another penis in this club while we sit.
He's like, if I can't have sex, then you can't be sexy, is my theory.
He's about to bust in the back of the head with a bell bottom.
He was so upset.
And I'm like, he's angry.
He was so upset.
I'm like, he's angry.
He was so bad. You look
angry.
sexy on that counter. How dare you, you trollop. Get down.
Get your fast ass off that goddamn
Get
counter.
down, you whore. So, like, he's so upset. And then when they have their sex therapy and there's a yes or no segment of the sex therapy where, like, the counselor throws out a question of, like, would the couple do this? Would the couple not do that? That's all, sex related. The question of, would you invite another party to your coupledom? Julia goes to maybe. She says maybe in, like, the bedroom, maybe. And Brandon went to no.
You would have think she slept with Brandon's father. The way he acted. You'd have think she slept with his father and his best friend.
All the men around him except him. Yeah.
At the same time. And videotaped it and sent it to him at work.
He was upset. Again, he's like, why would you go to maybe? She's like, I don't know. It's just something fun to think about. And he goes, how would you feel if I invited another girl? And she goes, you could have moved to yes. You could have moved to yes or maybe. Because it's a safe space. We're just talking about what we would think if we'd be comfortable. And he goes, fine, I will move to yes. So that he does. He moves over to yes.
So.
And talks about how he did it to spite her. Like, sir, what?
I told you that's what he did. I'm like, he only did it to spite her. He don't. So if we were in that same scenario and I went to yes, and you were,
I'd be in maybe. I'd be like Julia. I'd be in maybe.
How dare you, you child?
You whore.
How you whore? You whore. How dare you? How? Good night, ma'am. Good night.
It was ridiculous. It was great. He was livid. But
I'll be mad too.
It is funny how the other people are receiving Brandon. Jasmine thinks Brandon is a wet blanket and boring as hell. She's like, Julia is fun and adorable, and Brandon is the worst. It's hilarious.
I say it's all fun and games till somebody brushes the idea for real and tries to do it. then now we got a
Of
problem.
course.
But I thought you was a maybe. You
Well,
said- but
maybe
you-
is not definitive though.
But you, but
Maybe's not definitive.
but you maybe.
You were yes. That's different.
Okay, but you said maybe, so I'm assuming it's a yes, not a no.
You know what? Side conversation. Most real life people I know who had a threesome with their partner ended in disaster. Ended in absolute disaster.
It always ended in disaster.
I don't know if it always does, but it happens a lot.
Threesomes only work when everybody's single.
Okay. I could see that. Well, so I know gay couples who do the threesome thing and it's not a problem. It's not a
They're
problem.
single.
They're not single. They're in relationships.
They're all single.
They're in relationships.
They're single.
They're in open relationships.
Okay, single.
Not single though.
They're single.
But my thing is, I feel like for like heterosexual couples, it's a little more convoluted. Especially if you're monogamous, it's a little more convoluted. When you're like, let's do the threesome, and then you do it, and then you're like, ugh.
No, because someone always.
It's terrible.
Somebody's feelings always get hurt.
Yeah, somebody's feeling gets hurt. Somebody gets more attention than the other person. It becomes a thing.
When everybody's single, no one cares.
So anyway, the other couple that
I'm just saying from what I've heard. Just make sure I put that out there because I don't want.
this is not from experience.
Yeah, I don't want no more questions about this goddamn subject.
Calvin, we all have histories. So
Okay, sure.
the other couple is Natalie and Josh in the show. For whatever reason, Natalie has just been on a mean girl streak on the show.
Naturally.
Her and Julia didn't get along. I didn't realize they had a conflict on one of the tell-alls.
I told you that.
When did you tell me that?
Last time I told you they got into it because Julia said Natalie was only with that dude because she wanted a green card.
What season were they both on? How long ago was this? How about that?
This was the season the last season. What's the last season?
It couldn't have been the last season.
Yeah.
Brandon and Julia were not in it.
It was
It couldn't have been the last
it
season.
was the season before that season.
Okay. It had to be when she was still with Mike. It had to be then.
No, she was with Josh. Mike came on
Why
because
was
they wanted
Julia
to be
there?
dirty. So they brought Mike on
Why was
to
Julia
talk.
there?
Because her and Mike was still kind of sort of married. And it came out that was thinking about getting back with Mike.
I'm just saying Natalie's been a part of single life for a minute. She hasn't been on like a 90-day happily ever after.
So that's why. Because she was on there with Josh.
Okay. But she wasn't a part of the happily ever after season though. Like her crying, sliding down stuff, that was all single life.
Whatever.
Her move, that was single life.
Whatever it was, they all were on a tell-all together.
Interesting. But either way, some kind of bridge got burned.
So that's what happened. They got into it at the tell-all because Julia thought Natalie was using Mike to get a green card.
So, Julia was like, there's no love lost between me and Natalie, but we're about to be in this couples therapy group, for however long we're doing this for. So I might as well, try to find peace with it. And she goes and formally apologizes to Natalie. As soon as she gets up to Natalie and it's just like, hi, Natalie. Yeah, I think we should talk. Natalie goes, are you pregnant? You're getting bigger. It's like, okay, here we go. But Julia is the bigger woman. She ovaries up. She apologizes formally. She goes, you don't gotta like me. I just want to let you know I'm not trying to come at you. I do apologize for everything that happened. Blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to the club. Shit goes down at the club. Sophie has been talking about how Josh had been hitting up her DMs, trying to invite her to like Las Vegas and kind of hitting on her. And she showed it to Rob, who agreed with her. He was saying that Josh was doing a little much in Sophie's DMs or whatever. Josh says he's just a friendly guy. They happen to have friends in common. And he was just reaching out as a friend to Sophie. But the thing is, Natalie doesn't know that all this was going on. And technically, Josh and Natalie are in a relationship. For whatever reason, Natalie has been, like I said, mean girling it up. So she has been also going after Sophie, saying Sophie's got a bad body, yada, yada. She's had all these procedures done. Sophie hasn't really had any of that done. And she's like, I don't know what this girl's beef is with me, but I'm going to say something to Josh today. Since she wants to come for me, I'll be petty too. I'll go and say something to Josh. So she kind of pulls Josh away just to have a conversation. They're just talking. While she's doing that, Jasmine has taken it upon herself to let Natalie know that Josh ain't shit, that Josh has been talking to Sophie. Natalie immediately blames Sophie. So she gets that information from Jasmine and she throws water on Sophie, calls Sophie a
Sophie's trying to take
whore.
somebody else's man,
She
and that's
does get
why
mad at Josh, but most of her vitriol is against Sophie. And Jasmine has to cut in there and be like, hey, don't be mad at the girl. I need you to be mad at your man
why
who is doing all of this.
the girl went to the man.
She's just talking to him.
Sure she is. That's why Rob is in the corner crying.
What?
That's why Rob's upset,
Why is Rob upset?
because Sophie's out there trying to talk to everybody else.
I don't
and
even
be
know
with them,
what joke you're trying to crack. But the point
except him.
is, was she trying to be messy? Yeah, but she was literally just having a conversation with Josh.
Sounds like she was trying to be with everybody else except Rob.
Not really. But
Whatever.
the point is, Natalie doesn't go after Josh with the same heat. She only goes after Sophie with this heat for whatever reason. And Jasmine points that out. She's like, the guy who is making these agreements with you, whose boundaries he crossed, were yours. So that's who you need to be mad at. You need to go after Josh. Natalie doesn't want to hear it at all. She causes a huge scene. She talks about how now she's single at the club. She starts yelling at the guys in the club, being like, hey, will you date me? I'm single now. Storms out of there. Jasmine follows her. She sees Jasmine outside the club and goes, fix it. You did this, you fix it. And goes to leave, but Jasmine's crazy and catches up to her really quickly in her heels and goes, Natalie, I know you're upset right now. And I understand that the information that you got, you probably didn't appreciate the way that it was delivered, but do not come for me like this. I am also crazy. If you want to match crazy with crazy, we can do that. And they have to get them split up. The people start coming outside. They got to split up Jasmine from Natalie because they know Jasmine will throw hands. Natalie, the whole time, is doing this like really creepy stare down. It's very interesting. Fast forward. Julia is trying to save the night. She talks to Natalie. She's like, are you okay? Do you want to go home? What do you need in this moment right now? And Natalie goes, I'm just going to go back to the hotel. She goes, okay, go back to the hotel. Don't talk to Josh. Take a beat, take a moment to be with yourself. Natalie says, okay. She gets in the car, goes. Julia goes and checks on Josh. She's like, how are you doing with all this? And he's like, not well. I'm going to go talk to Natalie. She goes, don't talk to Natalie right now. She needs a moment to just recollect herself. How about you travel with us and we'll go from there. And he's like, okay. While she's doing all of that, Brandon's getting upset with Julia because he thinks Julia's doing too much. Julia's like, please shut up. I got to go. Fast forward.
To go back and dance on the table so my husband could cuss me out and call me a whore again.
Fast forward. Josh goes back to the hotel and he's packing up his stuff. And he says he's going to go get his own room. He's going to give Natalie space, yada, yada,
I told
yada.
her he was leaving. She didn't believe me.
At the time, he wasn't. He was just packing up his stuff to go to do another room.
Whatever.
But when he talks to Natalie, who finally comes at him with some heat and is like, why are you doing this to me? And brings up the fact that he still hasn't introduced her to people that are important to him. He still hasn't shown her where he lives, like stuff like that. On top of him trying to reach out to Sophie, he's like, I've had enough. And he leaves. He says he's leaving the resort, period. Natalie also has a meetup with one of the psychologists who tries to get her to figure out where all her vitriol for the women are coming from when all this went down. Like the person who broke her trust was Josh, but she took out a lot of it on the girls. And then we get this backstory of how Natalie used to be really bullied by women in her young childhood life, into her young adulthood. So her relationship with women has never been stable. Yada yada bloom bloom blow. This one counseling session has pointed this out to her, and now she's worried about how she's going to be received by the other ladies when she does go back. I do have a question though. If Josh is gone, what is she going back to?
Who knows? Just to apologize to the women. I don't care. I don't know.
But that's it. That's the last resort.
90 Days, Last Resort.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to 90 Days Before the 90 Days. Season 7, episode 17. Pretty much episode 17 is pretty short. They stretched it out.
Yosko and Vanya are now an official couple after meeting for 3 days. They both think each other is the one.
Joe tries to win over Magna's mom.
Joey is terrible.
So I'll put a little more context into this one a little bit. So they start the day with Joe and Magda uh playing volleyball. And Joe's pretty much horrible at it. And Magda is getting frustrated and angry because she's very competitive and she hates losing. So eventually they get done. They're talking, and pretty much Joey's trying to be nosy and figure out if she plays volleyball with the girls or guys. So he asks her, "Do you play with a lot of girls?" She pretty much tells him, "I play mainly with females." And he's like, "Do you play with any guys?" She's like, "Yeah, sometimes." She said, "Do you play with any exes or guy friends?" She was like, "No. When I play with guys, I don't. If I play with them, I don't date them because I don't want to make it awkward next time we see each other or we're playing or we're out here together. I don't want to make it awkward." So to me, Joey asked that question because he was trying to see how Magda feels about, I guess, being with friends or having exes who are friends. Because now that I think about it, that was a weird question for him to ask. I think he's trying to see if she plays with dudes, if she had any guy friends that she hangs out with. So, fast forward, they leave. Now they're going to meet her moms. And pretty much, he's trying to pretty much smooth things over with Magda's mom because Magda pretty much told her mom that he cheated on her. So pretty much the luncheon is him trying to make the mom feel comfortable about her daughter dating him. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't help. And I think that's pretty much how that ends. And then the next episode is they go somewhere to, I guess, finish out his time in Europe. And that's when he finally tells her that one of his best friends, he used to date them. And that's when she pretty much tells him she's going to eat everybody's eyeballs and everyone's going to die. And hell is going to freeze over the next time he sees her or whatever. Who knows?
She said she's going to be the queen of hell because she's eating all the eyeballs.
So, and that's when he finds out she's a witch. Tiger Lily and Adnan, pretty much their time was pretty much her cooking, I guess, some type of Thanksgiving dinner for her mom, his mom, and his brother. That got over. They pretty much talked about having kids, starting a family, or whatever. And then she leaves to go back to the States. He cries like a little girl when she's out of distance, holding all over the goddamn floors,
It's
embarrassing
adorable.
Embarrassing all the other Muslim men in that country.
No.
Because now they're like looking at him like,
it was so cute.
They're like, ugh.
Because he waits till she's gone to cry, and then he's like, "Yeah, I really miss her."
So then,
and I hate it when she has to travel. I'm like, oh.
She's back in the States. She, I guess, starts to feel kind of sick or something. I don't know.
No, she said she felt pressure. It's girl stuff, but she felt pressure
in her thigh area.
No,
because the fake all
basically
that
in her uterus. Basically in her uterus.
All that plastic is starting to come back.
Mm-mm.
So she goes to get a pregnancy test. She finds out she's pregnant. Whoop-de-doo. Yay for her. Finishing off with Sunny and Vea. So finally, after Vea meets Sunny's dad and it goes horribly wrong, he finally gets the courage up to tell her that she's eventually going to have to convert to the Muslim faith. And is Vea trying to figure out what that means or what's the timetable, or if she doesn't, are they going to still be together? And him not really giving her an answer. And
I feel like he gave her an answer about the timetable, though. Because he's like, if this is going to progress to like marriage, you would have to convert to the faith.
At some point, she would have to convert to the faith. And she's like, I don't know why he's saying this. I lived like that one time when they told me I had to cover up. And I didn't like it. And it didn't suit me. And I felt like they weren't letting me be. So apparently, she was part of the Mennonites.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she was adopted by Mennonites or something.
She was. And treated horribly, apparently.
So pretty much all this is doing from her past childhood trauma. And Sonny's like, I don't care. At some point, you must convert to Muslim faith because I am Muslim faith. Granted, I screw up every time. I just go to Allah and ask for forgiveness. But at some point, you will have to change. And that's where we ended at. And that's pretty much 90 days. Before the 90 days.
Lauren
Who?
Lauren and Faith.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more tragedy. Lauren and Faith. So pretty much Lauren is having a really, really bad day because he finds out no matter what he does,
he has to stay in America.
He has to stay in America.
Poor man.
He's
He's like, the plan is we're going to go to Thailand. I'm going to marry Faith in Thailand where it's
And the-
legal
and the
to get married to a trans woman in Thailand.
and the
And then
Filipino
come back to the
lawyers
Philippines married and then get my spousal visa.
and the Filipino lawyers are like, nah,
No. No, it
Nah.
doesn't. No.
it doesn't matter what the hell you do.
One, the Philippines does not recognize what they view to be same-sex marriage.
Exactly.
Unfortunately. Two, it's not legal in Thailand for you to have same-sex marriage. It's not a legal standing.
Well, my
there
friends
either.
told me that's what they did.
He's like, they got married there. It wasn't a problem. She's like, yeah, you can have a marriage ceremony.
You have a ceremony, don't mean a damn thing.
But it's not a legal marriage.
So
there.
after getting his hopes and dreams shot down and destroyed, he's feeling a type of way.
Yeah.
So Faith is happy because Faith thinks this is a way for her to get to the States.
The lawyers are like, Faith has way more autonomy. She has way more autonomy legally in the States than she does in the Philippines or even in Thailand. So it's like in everybody's best bet for her to go to the States. And Faith is like, yeah, like especially in terms of like career opportunities. She's like, the States was the plan initially. All of a sudden, he wanted to come to the Philippines.
When was that? What?
You don't remember her being so confused when he was like, yeah, I'm going to stay here? He's like, Faith doesn't know I'm trying to live here. You don't remember that? Because the plan had been for her to go with him to the States.
Oh.
Because she didn't know he was homeless. Remember? He didn't tell her that part either.
Oh. Well, so now they're going back to the hotel. Faith is feeling kind of frisky.
She's feeling special. The
She's
hotel
feeling-
is nice.
She's feeling kind of saucy.
It's his last night with her because he's supposed to be going back to the States the next
Her
day.
her inner Cardi B in Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion's coming out.
She is posing in that window when she's like, "Oh, look at the view."
That's what I'm saying. She's not talking about the view outside. She's talking about her view.
She was trying to be cutesy and romantic, and she was like,
So she's like,
Feeling it.
take a picture. And he's not taking a picture, trying
he's
to take
not
a picture.
enthusiastic at all, right?
And she's like, say cheese. He's like,
He's like, "I have to,"
I have to. She's like, yes. He said cheese.
but
Some-
she also said that he's been in a funk since the car.
So starts to go kind of downhill from there. They drink a thing of soda or whatever. He takes his can and then just crushes it. And Faith's like, what?
Like aggressively,
why do you do that?
and it's out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, he just hard crashes this can. So imagine it's dead silence, and then all of a sudden, it's this loud noise, and she's like, "What's going on?"
So they're talking. She's asking him what he's going to do. Is he going to get a lawyer when he go back to the States? He goes, no. And now he's kind of scratching his head with a knife. And she's like,
What's happening?
What's happening? What's going on? Are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. He kind of puts the knife down.
He's like, "I can't just poke myself with a knife." She's like, "No."
And so then she finishes her soda. He takes the can and crushes it against his head
Hard.
hard. So she's like, okay, what's going on?
And he still has a knife.
So now
like,
he picks up the knife and he's pretty much kind of like stabbing himself in the hand.
and he's looking at her, and she's like,
I don't feel comfortable.
no.
She takes a knife, puts it on the chair. And she's like, I don't feel comfortable.
She's like, do you think this is normal? And he's like, yeah.
yeah. She's like, so
She's
this
like,
is something you
"No."
do in front of your fiance? He's like, yeah.
Because she feels scared and disrespected at this point because he's being really manic.
So she takes off the ring and leaves. Which
She's
I
like,
don't-
I'm not comfortable. I'm not staying here. Takes
I
off her
don't-
ring and leaves.
Which I don't blame her. To me, for me being from the States and seeing that a lot, to me, he's just being white boy weird.
But you're not in any danger. She's
But
a trans woman.
Once again, I understand her not knowing that and feeling like last time I've seen something like this,
It was bad.
It was bad. So I'm just gonna get out of here. So I don't blame her for leaving. So she leaves. The producers come to talk to her and like asking her why. She's like, I just don't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think she said because being a trans person, you just when things start to go a certain way, you just don't feel comfortable and safe. And I'd rather be safe than sorry because I'm assuming something happened
She's in the Philippines.
where she barely made it out of there.
It doesn't even have to have happened to her. I'm sure she knows somebody that didn't
happened to
make it.
somebody. Or could have happened to her
Sister. Or a friend. That community is
So-
pretty close knit. It's the Philippines. There's a lot of murder that happens to trans women out that way. Murder. So I wouldn't be surprised if she either faced something crazy abusive herself or knows somebody who didn't make it.
So she leaves, and that's pretty much how Lauren and Faith end. Apparently, in the next episode, he's going to try to talk to her one last time before he leaves.
But if you listen to our Dat Happened earlier, you know that he left the Philippines without her and got married to somebody else. So and then got
that's
divorced. So
Pretty
I don't-
much 90 days before the 90 days. We didn't get any of Matilda or Niall. They'll be in the next episode, which I'll leave that for next episode. But Niles is. I'll say this.
Mhm.
I think his parents. It's not that they don't like Matilda.
Okay.
I think they know their son Niles.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's more about
His choices from before. Yeah.
it's not his. It's not the.
I think so.
The choices. It's the fact that he makes choices and then don't want to follow through with those choices.
I think those are based on their experiences with his choices from before. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a pattern.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Where he does things, gets himself into something, and then at the last second doesn't
Yeah.
want to do it.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
think it's less about her. I think they actually might like her.
If they get to know her,
If they get to know her, I think
yeah.
they'll actually like her. And the fact that she actually tries to understand him.
But he's talked about how he's been in relationships prior to her that weren't good. So I don't blame his parents for being like, what?
I think.
And now you're getting married? What?
I think it was more. I'll tell you when we go over the next episode. I'll tell you why I feel that way about Niles. But that's pretty much it for 90 Days the Other Way.
All right.
Before the 90 days, I mean. You got anything?
Any other shows you're watching?
Well, other than the Commando, whatever that monster show.
Monster Commandos?
I got a suggestion for the people to watch.
Okay.
It's a podcast.
Uh-huh.
So if you're looking to get news in a different way, other than the like the sad, depressing, whatever
What do you
type
mean
of
news
way.
in another way? What do you mean?
Pretty much, if you want news in a funny, crazy way,
Okay.
then you will love the podcast Good and Crazy News.
What kind of news is it?
It's pretty much news of the day of the week, current news of the day,
Oh, like political news?
political news.
Okay. Anything that's like a top headline?
Yeah, top
Okay.
headline news,
Okay. Not
And
just
if-
pop culture stuff?
and some pop culture stuff.
Okay.
In a funny, interesting way.
Okay.
So you can go check out Crazy Sexy News.
It's called Crazy Sexy News?
I'm sorry, Good Crazy News. It's called
Crazy
Good and
Sexy
Crazy News. You can find them on Spotify, or you can go on YouTube, look them up, and watch the actual live show.
Oh, yeah,
live-
he has a YouTube channel, too.
Yeah, the live shows are actually better on
Nice.
YouTube. So it's called Good and Crazy News channel. I think I know you guys
Calvin
will like
has
it.
a connection to this podcast.
The connection is. I don't like the motherfuckers.
That's a lie.
No, they're cool peoples. The co-host and the host.
There's a co-host?
Yeah,
I thought it was just hockey.
just
Okay.
like you're my co-host.
I'm your co-host?
Yeah,
Oh.
you're the co-host. You're the tech person.
Oh.
You're the
Who's the co-host?
Heather.
Is it? Are you serious? Don't lie to me right now. Don't
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me right now. Are
Yeah.
you serious right now?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then definitely check this out.
Yeah.
It's said good and crazy news. Crazy good news.
Good and Crazy News.
Good and crazy news.
Said it like 19,000 times.
You said it wrong 19,000 times. You called it sexy crazy news.
I think that'd be a great name.
Oh my god.
But yeah, go check out Good and Crazy News. I would like to play like a brief little thing, but they don't have one on the Spotify.
Oh, the trailer? They don't
Yeah,
have
they
a
don't. They
trailer.
don't have a trailer.
They might have one on their YouTube. YouTube does trailers too.
Yeah, I can look that up. What are you looking into or looking at?
I caught up on Ghost on CBS. Ghost is a very fun show. That's actually a spinoff from the BBC version, where it's just about like these core 8 ghosts in this house and this poor woman who can see them and nobody else can. It's just so funny. It's hysterical. And in the American version, there's a lot of allusion to Alexander Hamilton. So I'm I'm interested in seeing where they're gonna go with all of that. It's spooky, it's funny. I like it. I'm trying to get back into the the land show. I forget what it's called. Land Oil, Land something with Billy Bob Thornton. Trying to get back into that, but it's hard. It's hard. The way these women are depicted in this show, it's hard for me to get on board. Um, Catching up on my wrestling. They're about to make their move to Netflix. Raw's about to move to Netflix, and I have my concerns. Am I going to be able to watch it on demand still? Do I have to watch it while it's live? Are they going to make me watch commercials? I paid for no commercials, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. Also, it's Netflix. Netflix and live shows usually don't work. Usually doesn't work well. So there's that. I caught Beyonce's performance for the Cowboys game, I guess.
No, it was a halftime Christmas performance for the Houston Texans during the Houston Texans game.
I thought she was at the Dallas Cowboys.
No, it was Houston. It was her hometown.
Got you. It was phenomenal.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You can say whatever you want to say about Beyonce, but what you cannot say is that she does not put on
a show.
A fucking show. You could say her vocals might not be
whatever's
as the greatest R&B singers that you might want to say, but what you cannot say is she can't not perform.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I watched some. I clicked on it because I'm like, Beyonce halftime. What the
This
fuck?
is high praise for Calvin. He's usually a Beyonce hater, so I'm amazed.
She did I guess the Cowboy Carter.
Yep.
Album.
Yep.
Was
It was a mashup. There was some Cowboy Carter. There was some other stuff.
I think what's it 2 Chainz? The 2 Chainz?
No, that black guy in the cowboy hat.
That was rapping.
He wasn't rapping. He was doing his song. He's a country singer.
There was a dude in red, an all red.
A dude in all red. I don't know who that is.
I thought he was 2 Chainz.
The guy in all I know the guy in all white is Shabuzi.
I don't know what dude in all
red. Post Malone showed up. I was like,
He was in there?
Did you watch it? What did you watch?
No, I fast forwarded.
What did you watch?
I saw like highlights. I saw some of it.
Okay.
And I fast forwarded through it because I know she was coming through a tunnel and then she stopped and then I guess she had 4 black country singers.
Yeah, Tanner was in there.
And when I say they harmonized the hell at that part.
They did it on Blackbird. That's the song they're singing. They did it on this actual song too.
They killed it.
Yeah.
And then she came out. If I knew Post Malone was in it, I'd have give it a thumbs down and went on about my business.
He did a song with her off of the Cowboy Carter album. What I will say is she kept her distance. So
what I will say to that is, and this is why we can't get mad when people don't respect our stuff. He shouldn't have been nowhere near that performance.
Post Malone.
Or nowhere near any black artist.
I'm confused by Post Malone because he's really respected. He's really respected.
He's respected by a lot of these young hip hop artists.
And older people. The OJs were going on and on about his producer skills. The OJs. So like he's in terms of that industry, he's really respected for his music. He has said some shitty things, but they really respect him for his music.
Like I said, we got to take a stand at some point.
But also, if I'm coming at it from like Beyonce's viewpoint, if she does that with everybody, who she gonna work with? Who's left?
She don't have to work with him.
She doesn't have to. That's true. But the timing of it worked for the album because he was also just going back to country as well. So it was working in that space.
Whatever. Like I said.
And like I said, he's really respected for his music.
Like I said, then don't complain when he disrespects the music genre or anything.
Yeah.
Don't cry when he disrespects black people.
Yeah.
Then if that's the case, I don't want to hear black people complain about him disrespecting them or their music
Yeah.
anymore. I don't care.
But what guy in the red? No, I'm not gonna look it
I
up.
thought it was 2 Chainz.
It might be 2 Chainz. It might be.
All I know is, and then when she got lifted at the end and it came out bang.
Uh-huh.
That's all I would say. And Beyonce, breathing control is amazing.
Yes. She rode a horse and sang.
And
it didn't sound like she was on the horse.
It's
insane.
Insane.
She ran and sang.
Like I said, you can say what you can say whatever you want to say about her, but one thing you cannot say is she's not built for this.
She put the first black rodeo queen out of Arkansas in one of those cars where she does like the homecoming parade thing.
Yeah.
She's in one of those cars. It's a bunch of like rodeo queens. It was so good. There's like these little Easter eggs and like all the stuff that she did.
Whatever. Like
her third act is dropping around January 14th. I'm excited.
Like I said, she's on par with Michael Jackson.
That's what a lot of people are saying. That's what they're in terms of like show caliber. She's by herself, basically. Like the people that used to do it are gone, basically.
Like the people who put on shows like that are all gone for real.
Yeah, they're gone.
She's the only one. So she's going to destroy.
But I mean, Janet's still touring. She is.
But Janet don't put on a show like that.
I don't know. People really liked her latest one. She's not putting out new music, but people really liked her last tour.
Yeah, I'm not saying she doesn't do great tours. I'm saying I don't know. I haven't been to Janet Jackson. So let me not downgrade Janet Jackson. I haven't seen in her tours.
But what I will say, like in terms of relevancy, it's not the same. It's not the same.
So I know people keep saying try to put Taylor Swift on her level or ahead of her.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is still a notch below.
Yeah.
So let's stop it.
Concur.
She's not better. She's trying to do or recreating what Beyonce has already done.
She also doesn't have to. Like we don't have to compare them at all. They don't even do the same
music. So at the end of the day, they're two completely different genres.
Yes.
But right now, in female R&B, performance wise, it's Beyonce.
Yeah.
Then there's Beyonce.
Yeah.
Or there's B.
Yeah.
And then there's Sasha Fierce.
Yeah. I'm amazed you know all of these. I'm in shock.
Just need to know.
I'm in shock.
They're all a Beyonce.
Yes.
So she's 1, 2, and 3.
And 4. Yep.
So.
Phenomenal, though. Her little halftime show, phenomenal.
And I don't even give a damn about halftime shows.
Well, a lot of people are saying it's upsetting the sports industry now because the halftime show usually was reserved for the Super Bowl. And now they just had it like a regular game.
What's funny is whoever is doing the halftime show has got to do something better than that.
For the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or then.
Well, so Kendrick Lamar is who's going to be the headliner for that.
He has to do something on the level of Beyonce. If not, then they be like, you just should have saved Beyonce for the Super Bowl and let somebody else do the halftime show.
There's a lot of contention about what he's going to do because it's going to be in New Orleans and Lil Wayne wasn't invited and he feels away.
No one wants it.
And Drake is upset.
If you want to laugh, go hear Orlando Brown do Lil Wayne when they say Lil Wayne was upset because he couldn't do the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
They interviewed Orlando Brown about this?
Orlando Brown is like, I know why. Because don't want to hit.
Orlando Brown said no one could understand what he said.
I want to hear that shit. I'm an alien. He's like, no one's going to understand it. That's why Kendrick Lamar's doing it.
Oh, no.
I was like, he got a point. If you go read the comments, everybody's like, got a point. He might be crazy, but kind of got a point.
My thing is, even though Kendrick Lamar is headlining it, who's to say he can't have a special guest? Usher had a gazillion people.
I should put on a hell of a performance at the Super Bowl.
It was a fun time, but then it looked like that stage was gonna break.
But yeah, I think he's gonna do L.A.
Mhm.
Then he might have maybe big timers on there.
Yeah.
He'll have some
Big timers.
Some stuff.
Juvenile.
So he might even throw Big Frida out there.
Oh, I hope Frida comes out. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So, but yeah, so that's what I was all caught up on. Did you find a trailer or?
Nah, you don't have one.
Okay. Okay.
But I can read what they got on.
But shout out again to Good Crazy News.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I don't. Do you have anything you're looking forward to or anything? Oh, that's right. This is our last episode before the New Year's. You got any New Year resolutions?
Stay black and die.
Okay. That's something to do. Yep. All right. Well, my resolution is to continue working on being strong and try to get outside more.
You don't need a New Year resolution for perfection.
Or you're saying you're perfect?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
You're gonna read the summary for Good Crazy.
Oh, you want to read? I thought
you said you had something.
Oh. The summary is about. Welcome everyone to the Good and Crazy News channel, where we have fun talking about good and crazy news in the current cycle. Me and my producer/co-host for the episode will break down the best and craziest news stories that are currently in the news. This hot topic show will highlight things going on right now in the news cycle. We try to stay away from celebrity gossip unless they are doing something good most of the time, which that's kind of a lie. They do roast people sometimes. In the future, we will tackle health, wealth, and business on this channel.
Aww.
For right now, we are just to have fun and build our channel.
That's cool.
So
okay.
I think people enjoy it because it's funny.
That's good. How long are his episodes usually? Like ours?
Like 52 minutes.
Okay, it's pretty short. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. All right, sounds good to me. I think that's a good note to end on. Check out Good Crazy News. Shout out to Aki. Shout out to Heather. Shout out to Pam, giving us some gossip this week. Sounds good to me.
Our investigative reporter in the streets.
Right. Right. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.